Hi viewers, welcome to Gani's YouTube channel. In this tutorial, I am going to explain you how to create this type of fabrication drawing in Tekla structures. Okay, let's start. Open Tekla structures with Indian environment. Now I'm going to create columns here. So click on steel and select this column and zoom it here. Pick the first point, pick next point here, next point and next point. To create 4 columns. Now I'm going to create beams. So right click on mouse interrupt. Now select this beam and click on here first point and second point to create beam like this. Now similarly we're going to create remaining beams. Like this. Okay, now we're going to create intermediate 2 beams. So before that we need to take reference points. So click on edit, scroll it down and select this point, and we're going to take online point here. We require two beams, so with equal spacing. So let's take here 2 point. Now click on apply, okay, zoom it here, pick the first point and pick the second point to create 2 points, reference points. Right click on mouse interrupt with equal spacing. Now drag and select these 2 points. Now use the shortcut Ctrl C for copy and pick the first point here and pick the second destination point to copy these 2 points here on this beam. Right click mouse interrupt. Now I'm going to create beams here. So click on steel and select this beam and pick the first point here and pick the second point to create beam. Right click mouse interrupt. Now I'm going to change this profile, so double click on it. Now click on here. Let's take ISMB 250. Now click on apply, okay. Now click on modify to see the result. I'm going to change color, so click on here class 2, click on modify it and close it. Now I'm going to take same beam at here, so select this beam and pick the first point here and pick the second point to create beam like this. Right click mouse interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, redrawing. Okay, now I'm going to create connections. So go to application components by using the shortcut Control F. In search bar, type number 186. Then you will get this component. So select this component and pick the main part as a column and pick the secondary part as a beam. Zoom it, you can see now we have connection like this. Now right click on mouse interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse redrawing. Okay, similarly we're going to create same connection at here. Before that we need to edit this connection to create part marks. So click on space, right click on mouse redrawing. Use the shortcut Control 4 for render view, or use the shortcut Shift 4 for render view for components also, and use the shortcut Control R and pick the rotation point here and use Control and mouse middle button to rotate like this. Now zoom it here, right click on mouse interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse review. Now go to edit this connection, so double click on this connection, click on this parts tab. Let's remove this chamfer and now I'm going to mention this connection plate part mark P, initial name P and start number 1. Click on modify, apply, okay. Similarly we need to give the part mark for this beam also, so double click on it. Let's take beam part number. By default we have M. If you want to take P, then make it here P, and prefix we have 1. Click on modify it and close it. Okay, now I'm going to create same connection at this location. So go to application components and select this same component and pick the main part as a column and pick the secondary part as a this beam. Now close this window, right click mouse interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse redrawing. Use the shortcut Control R and pick the rotation point here and use Control and mouse middle button to rotate like this and zoom it here. You can see now we have connection like this. Okay, now I'm going to create connection between this beam to beam. So right click mouse interrupt and zoom it here. Use the shortcut Control R and pick the rotation point here and use the Control and mouse middle button to rotate like this. We're going to create connection at this location. So right click mouse interrupt. Go to application components by using the shortcut Control F. In search bar, type number 146. Then you will get this component here, plate simple, component number 146. So select this component and pick the main part as a this beam and pick the secondary part as a this beam. You can see now we have connection like this. Now right click on mouse interrupt. Now close this window here Okay, now we're going to edit this connection to create the prefix of this plate. So double click on it, click on this plates tab, take this prefix P and start number 1. Now click on modify, apply, OK. Click on space, right click on mouse, review. Now I'm going to create same connection at here. So go to application components by using the shortcut Control F. Select this component 146. Now select the main part as this beam and pick the secondary part as this beam to create the same connection like this. Now close this window, right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, review. Okay, now I'm going to create this beam assembly drawing, included single part drawings in same drawing. So now I'm going to create numbering. So click on this drawings and reports and select this perform numbering and select this number modified objects to create numbering. Click on here save number. Okay, now I'm going to create fabrication drawing for this beam. So select this beam, right click on mouse, create drawing and assembly drawing. Okay, one drawing created successfully. Now use the shortcut Control L for open drawing list. You can see now I have one drawing here, B3. So to open this drawing, double click on it. You can see now I have drawing like this. Okay, now I'm going to create this drawing clearly. So just remove this section and this top view also, and remove all dimensions by using this filter. So double click on this option, select dimensions in drawing, double click on it to activate only this filter. Now close this window to close the drawing list. Now drag and select all dimensions and delete it. Now we have 2 part marks here, 3. If you want to remove at once, now select this option, select marks and drag and select it and delete, and select this option, select all filters. Now click on this rectangle and drag and place it here like this. Okay, now I'm going to create single part drawing for this part. So we need to use this option, select filter, select parts in drawing. So double click on it to activate this filter. Now drag and select all parts. Now right click on mouse, create single part views. You can see now we have created all single part views here. So now I'm going to arrange this single parts. So click on space, right click on mouse, arrange drawing views. You can see all drawings are arranged here. Now select this option, select all and select this rectangle and drag and place it upward direction by using the left mouse key. You can see now we have part. This is the section AA, remove it, don't require, and this one also don't require, so delete it. And we have dimensions for this part, and here also we have dimensions. You can see now we have parts in bill of material, 2 parts, P1 and P4. So this is the P1 and this is the P4. We can mention the part marks in here. Before that, we are going to arrange these parts. So click on it and drag and place it here, and click on it and drag and place it here, and click on it, rectangle, and drag and place it like this. Now coming to this part, this main view, we have section. So double click on it. You can see now we have scale here 1/10. If you want to increase, you can increase the scale also here. Currently we have 1/10, so keep it. So cancel it. Now coming to here, this single part view also we require to mention the same scale. So double click on this inside rectangle. Let's take here scale 1/10 and click on modify and zoom out. You can see now I have scale 1/10. If you want to increase the length, then go to attributes 2, and for example let's take here 500. Click on modify it to increase the length a little bit like this. Now click on OK. You can see now we have like this. Okay, now first of all we need to create single part dimensions and part marks. So coming to here, by default we have dimensions here, top of beam to first hole distance 70, 60 for this spacing, and here also we have dimensions. These dimensions are more than enough. You want to create freshly, then delete this dimension. I'm going to mention it. Just I would like to tell you how to create these dimensions. So delete all marks in drawing, and we need to remove this center line also. So double click on this center line and remove this tick mark center line. Click on modify, apply, OK. Okay, Okay, first of all we need to create part mark. So select this part, right click on mouse, add mark and applied. This is the assembly mark B3, but we need to create part mark P1, just like in bill of material we have P1. So assembly mark is this one, B3. So we need to create here part number. So double click on it, remove this assembly position and select this part position, click on add, click on modify to see the result here. Now we have part number, click on general, and if you want to change the frames here, by default we have rectangle. If you want to change the frame type, you can select from here, click on modify to see the result. If you don't require frame, then select this one and click on modify and you will get like this. Okay, currently we're going to take a rectangle, click on modify. If you want to create arrow here, then you can see now here arrow types here. So select this arrow and click on modify like this. And you can save this setting also. For example, here let's take part mark and click on save. You will get in the list and click on select and load and apply this property next time. Then click on modify, apply. Okay, now click on it, use the shift and left mouse key to drag and place it here, and use only left mouse key to adjust the position without moving arrow. Now we need to create the dimensions for these holes. So click on dimensioning and select this vertical distance and pick the first point and pick the next point here and pick the next point here and press the scrolling wheel button to place the dimension like this. Now I'm going to change this arrow type. So double click on it, click on this appearance and click on here. We're going to use this type of arrow. So click on it and click on modify, apply. Okay, you can see you'll get like this. You can see now we have dimension from top of beam to first hole 70, and from between these two holes we have 60 vertical dimension. Similarly, we need to create horizontal dimension. So select this horizontal and pick the first point here. You need to pick at the corner. So select this horizontal distance and pick the first point here and pick the second point and pick the next point here and press the scrolling wheel button to place the dimension. Right click on mouse, interrupt. You can see now we have horizontal and vertical dimension for these holes. Now I want to create hole mark. So select this hole, click on it, right click on mouse, add mark and applied to create hole part mark. Double click on it, you can create the arrow here. So click on general and click on here and select this arrow, click on modify it. You'll get like this. You can see now we have 4 number of holes and D indicates the diameter and 18 is the hole diameter size. Then click on modify, apply. Okay, you can see you'll get like this. You can also save this part mark. So double click on it. For example, type here hole mark and click on save. You can see in the list you will get hole mark here. Close it. Similarly, we need to create horizontal and vertical dimensions for this hole in this side. So select this horizontal distance and pick the first point here and pick the next point and press the scrolling wheel button to place the dimension. Right click on mouse, interrupt. Select this dimension and you can drag and place it and select the vertical distance and pick the first point here and pick the next point and press the scrolling wheel button to place the dimension. Right click on mouse, interrupt. You can adjust this position, click on it and use the left mouse key to drag and place the position properly. Then I'm going to create hole mark. So select this hole, right click on mouse, add mark and applied to create a hole mark here like this. If you want to place outside, you can place like this. Here also select it, hold the shift and left mouse key and place it here and use the only left mouse key to adjust the position like this also. Okay, now we're going to create total length of this beam. So select this horizontal distance and pick the first point here and pick the next point at this location. Now press the scrolling wheel button to place the dimension. Right click mouse, interrupt and click on it and drag and place proper position like this. Okay, that's it about this single part drawing P1. Now coming to P2. By default we have dimensions like this. If you want to create freshly, now drag and delete these dimensions and delete it. Now I'm going to check this scale. So double click on this rectangle. Okay, by default we have scale here 1/10, so keep it like that. Click on cancel. Now I'm going to create part mark and dimensions of this hole. So for example, we're going to create horizontal and vertical dimensions for this plate. So select this horizontal and pick the first point and pick the next point here, and press scrolling wheel button to place the dimension. Similarly, we need to create in this direction. So select this vertical distance and pick the first point and next point and next point here, and press the scrolling wheel button to place the dimension. Okay, from edge to whole dimension we have like this. Actually this dimension is not required. These two dimensions are more than enough for horizontal and vertical. Now go to create total length and total width dimension. So select this horizontal distance and pick the first point and pick the next point here, and press the scrolling wheel button to place the dimension. Select this vertical distance and zoom it and pick the first point here and pick the next point here, and press the scrolling wheel button to place the dimension. Right click mouse interrupt. Now select it and drag and place it like this. Okay, now go to create whole part mark. So select it, right click mouse, add mark and applied to create whole part mark here. Now we need to create plate part mark also. So select this plate, right click mouse, add mark and applied. Now select it, hold shift and left mouse key to adjust the position, and like this. You can see now I have this P4 part mark also. You can see bill of material we have part number P4. Now we have the information about this part mark here. We have total width and length and whole dimension and whole part mark and plate part mark. Okay, this information is more than enough for creating single parts in fabrication. Now coming to this assembly dimensions, so click on this rectangle and drag and place it here. We already created single part drawings in this drawing. So now coming to assemblies, now we need to create part marks in assembly. So double click on this option, select parts in drawing and drag and select all parts, right click on mouse, add mark and applied. You can see now I have parts like this, part marks. So select this option, select all. We don't require this whole dimension because we already created whole part marks here in the single part. So remove this whole part mark dimension like this. Now we have part mark P1. This is the part number P1 and this is part number P4 and this one also P4. Now I want to delete this center line. So double click on this center line and remove this tick mark here. Click on modify, apply, OK. Now we have part number here, P4 here. This is the far side, so we need to mention here far side in part mark. So double click on this part mark and select this fittings near or far side option. So select it, click on add and click on modify. You can see now have this plate far side. You need to mention like this. Similarly, we need to apply the same property for this part. So select this part, click on modify to apply the same property, click on apply, OK. You can see now I have same like this. Okay, now select this part and you can arrange like this. You can see now this P1 already created here, total dimensions and whole dimensions. So no need to create the whole dimensions and whole size here. And now coming to single part, we already created total length and width and whole sizes. So no need to create the whole dimensions here. Now we need to mention assembly total length first. Now select this horizontal distance and pick the first point here and pick the second point here and press the scrolling button to place the dimension. This is the total assembly length 5820. Now we need to create the dimension between edge of this beam to this plate. So select this horizontal distance and pick the first point here and pick the next point. Click on here and pick the next point at here. Now press the scrolling wheel button to place the dimension. Now click on it and drag and place it like this. Click on it, drag and place it like this. You can see now from edge to this plate distance we have 1913. From this plate to this plate distance we have 2000. If you want to change this dimension type, then double click on it and drag and place it here and click on here, and you need to select this option, running dimension option 1 2 3 4th one. Now select it, click on modify it. You can see this is the running dimension type RD. From this edge to this dimension and from this edge to this dimension we have like this. Okay, if you want to use another type, this one chain dimension, click on modify, apply, OK, to create like this. As you require, you can change this dimension type from double click on it and you can change this property of this type. Now we need to mention this dimension vertical distance. So select this vertical distance and pick the first point and pick the second point and create here. Similarly, we need to create here. So pick first point and second point and press the scrolling button to place the dimension like this. 30 from top of beam to this plate edge distance like this. Okay, now go to create section here. So click on view and select this section view and pick the first point and pick the second point perpendicularly and pick the cut box first point here, pick the second point here and click on here to place the view. Now we're going to arrange this section, so drag and place it here and click on here and drag and place it like this. Now we have a section like this. Now I'm going to change this arrow size, so double click on this arrow. Let's take here 5, click on modify it and close it. Now click on it and drag and place it like this. Similarly, we're going to place this arrow. Before that, we need to move this section, so click on this rectangle and drag and place it here and drag and place it like this. Okay, now in our section we have dimensions from center of beam to this whole dimension 74 and 60. Similarly, from top of beam to 70 and 60. These whole dimensions are required to cross check with this placement of this plate in beam. So keep it like this dimension, drag and place it here like this. If you want to place this title bottom, so double click on this title, click on this labels, click on here and select below. Now click on modify, zoom out here, you can see now this title at bottom. If you want to remove this scale, then in A2 remove this, delete this mark. Now click on modify to update it. Now click on OK. You can see now you'll get like this. Now we're going to remove this center line and this hatching, so double click on it, remove this center line mark and click on modify. You can see center line removed. Similarly, click on this fill and click on here and select none, click on modify to remove this hatching. Now click on OK. Now I'm going to mention this part mark, so select this beam, right click on mouse, add mark and applied. This is the P1. Now select this plate, right click on mouse, add mark and applied. This is the P4. Hold the shift and left mouse key to adjust the position like this. You can see in section also we have dimensions like this, and click on it and drag and place it like this. This section and this section are same, so you can create dummy section marks here. So click on these annotations and select this section mark and click on here first point. You can see now these arrows are right side, so we need to create a selection from bottom side. So select this section mark and pick the first point here and pick the second point here to create the marks like this. Now double click on it. We need to mention here section A, so type here A and size we're going to take here 5 arrow size. Now click on modify it, apply OK. You can see now I have section A mark. This both sections are same, so we'll get only one view like this. Okay, now coming to this weld symbol, this plate should be P4 plate should be welded to this P1 part, so we need to create the weld symbol here. So you can create at this location, so go to annotations and select this weld mark and pick the first point at here, pick the second point to create weld mark like this. Now select this mark and place it here. Now double click on it. Now in weld here, double side weld, so click on here and select this symbol and enter here weld size 6. Now click on modify. You can see you'll get like this. Click on modify, apply OK. This is the weld symbol. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to arrange these drawings. So click on here and drag and place it like this. Now to arrange these drawings in center of this drawing sheet like this. Okay, that's it about how to create this type of fabrication drawing. Now use the shortcut Ctrl S for save this drawing and close this window here to close the drawing. Use the shortcut Ctrl L for open the drawing list. Now you can see now we have created this drawing. So select this drawing, right click on mouse, click on print to convert this drawing into PDF. So click on this print. select this option PDF file. Now select this option open folder when finished. Now click on here to see the preview and click on print to convert this drawing into PDF. Okay, currently I'm closing this window here. Okay, that's it about how to create fabrication drawing for this beam. If you like this video, please like it and share it. If you have any doubts, please comment below. For more Tekla structure related videos, please go to my channel youtube.com/GaniSK. I will provide this link in the description below of this video. Please go through it and come here. Under videos, you can find out so many Tekla structure related videos. I hope these videos might be helpful to you. And at the top right corner, please click on subscribe button. If you subscribe, you will get notification or updates when uploading new video. So please click on subscribe. Okay, thank you.